Hello, girls, guys, or otherwise. This is Rich, and welcome to another Inner Temple of Witchcraft Witchy Book Club series. Hold on, I dropped my pen. I am so ill prepared as far as actually making a video. I wanted to make this video yesterday, but yeah, I didn't quite get to it. And as you can see, I am in a hotel for my military weekend down in Dover, Delaware. So anyway, we are going through the Inner Temple of Witchcraft for a Witchy Book Club series by Christopher Penczak. You can get your copy by clicking the link below. There will be an Amazon link below. If you have the capability and you have the resources around you, I do encourage you to buy from a local bookstore, local witchy shop, or something of that sort. So, we are going through chapter 16, which is entitled Born Again. It is lesson number 12. But before we get started on that, grab your coffee, grab your tea, grab your beverage, whatever it may be. I have vanilla chai by Bigelow, and I approve. So anyway, let's go to last week's assignments. I will be quite honest, the healing chapter, not really what I am called to do, and something that I don't regularly do for witchcraft and what you call it, and magic workings, whatnot. So I did not complete the lessons, the exercises there, and if you hear traffic, there's nothing I can do about that. Hopefully you guys aren't hearing that, but you may. Continuing assignments of daily journals, writing 3 pages a day. I haven't had that much to write this week. It's been kind of a light week for me, and kind of a crazy week as far as the overall week. I worked Monday and Tuesday, was off Wednesday, worked Thursday, was off today, that's Friday, and I'm going to, or then went to Delaware, down here in Delaware. So, yeah, there's just a lot of little things going on, not anything big or overly exciting, good or bad, just kind of a weird hodgepodge week. But I didn't do much journaling, which I was kind of disappointed in myself about, but didn't have many things that I needed to journal. Whenever I journal, I try to make it a purposeful thing, like, hey, there's something I need to write down to record a thought or whatnot. That really hasn't happened much this week. So for me, journaling really did not happen. Dream journaling, again, I haven't been remembering my dreams lately. Now, it could be that I need to take more steps to make sure that I remember my dreams a little bit more regularly. So that might be something that I need to, make sure that I do. Focus on regular meditation practice at least 3 times a week, if not daily. Again, this is something that I do whenever I go to sleep, just about every day. So that's pretty in there. Using intuition, instant magic, neutralization, light, and aura reading in your daily life. Maybe not daily, but I do use intuition quite often. Instant magic, very little. Neutralization, pretty much not at all. Light, yes. Aura reading, kind of, depending on the situation. So, anyway, we are going into chapter 16, lesson 12, entitled Born Again. And before I go any further, a couple of the particulars. If you are not yet subscribed, go ahead and click that subscribe button. If you like these videos, go ahead and hit that like button. It helps appease the algorithmic gods of YouTube. All hail the algorithmic gods of YouTube. And leave a comment below letting me know what you like or don't like about these videos. If you agree or disagree with any of the views put forth in this video, just make sure they're respectful, and we'll be respectful back. If you're a dick, then I'm gonna delete you. So grab your coffee, grab your tea, grab your beverage, whatever it may be, sit back, relax, and let's get started. Okay, like we've been doing throughout the entirety of the book here, we look at the first sentence, the opening sentence of the chapter, the opening salvo. And he has in here, when I was a young boy, I remember watching television with my mother. Not exactly the biggest opening. He goes on with this little anecdote, but I think this anecdote kind of does set up the chapter or set up the opening salvo of the rest of the chapter. So yes, I do think that the first paragraph, did I say that correctly? The first paragraph sets the opening salvo for the rest of the chapter. I do think it is nicely done overall. I wanted to touch on, this is on 291 of my version. Pause there. There is a 20th anniversary edition, so do keep in mind that Kindle and 20th anniversary editions, your page numbers are going to be different. I'm talking about the specific edition and copy that I have is on 291 at the bottom. He says, strangely enough, I later learned that early Gnostic Christians believed in reincarnation. Correct. The patriarchal church, when codifying the Bible, struck out those books and passages containing such information, though some survived, including the following quotation. And this is actually Matthew verse 11, chapter 11, verse 14 and 15, and I kind of want to get my own Bible out. I want to compare his, and I don't know what that is. I want to kind of compare his translation to my translation that I have of the New American Bible translation. Okay, and this is something I should have done off camera, but hey, we're going along for the ride. So his version says, because it was toward John that all the prophecies of the prophets and of the law were leading, and he, if you will believe me, is Elijah who was to return. If anyone has ears, let him listen. Sorry. Okay, this is 11:14 through 15. Okay. And if you're willing to accept it, he is Elijah, the one who is to come. Whoever has ears ought to hear. Okay, so, this one is actually a little bit easier to decipher the meaning. I don't know if I completely agree that this is a reincarnation account in biblical texts. It definitely could be, and I can definitely see how this can be taken as a reincarnation text. I think there are probably better texts overall that can be looked at, but I do think that this is one that it might be stretching a little, it might not be. I'm not really sure how I feel on this one. He goes on to say, modern scholars speculate that this passage of the New Testament is one of the few obscure references left in the Bible regarding reincarnation, implying John was Elijah in a past life. I'm not sure if I agree. I'm going to have to do more research on this before I give a definitive yes or no on this particular passage. So I'm going to leave it at that. I will give him the benefit of the doubt. It definitely does sound like that. But I would want to give it a little bit more in-depth study in order to flesh out exactly how I feel about that and whether or not I agree or disagree. I think that is a respectful way for all individuals involved. So I did want to note that Gnostics of the past and still today, the Gnostics that are around today, a good many of them do believe in reincarnation in some form. There's not necessarily a set doctrine in the Gnostic church, in any of the Gnostic churches. There's several different sects, 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 that they believe different things in different ways, different dogmas, different doctrines. They still have the root of the Gnostic Gospels, the Nag Hammadi Gospels, the biblical texts, the canonized biblical texts, and they perform similar sacraments and rituals and whatnot. So, I mean, they are very closely connected, but they are still different in certain areas. Let's see. On 293, I wanted to... Oh, wait. Sorry. Going back to 292, I have down towards the bottom, theologies and mythologies give us a guide to what happens to souls prior to birth and after life. Although atheists would argue that such fables are created to give us comfort or to control, the various faiths do seem to have similar threads woven into very different tapestries. Okay. I have nothing against atheists. I think that anybody that comes to their faith, their practice, their belief in anything or in nothing, in science or in a dogma or doctrine, if you come to that conclusion honestly, if you have been honest with yourself, if you are sincere in your beliefs, you know what? Nothing against you. To me, I don't like sheep that will sit there and say, well, this is the truth and you just have to accept it. Otherwise, you know, you're going here, you're going there. It's like, no, that's not how this works. No, I respect you for your beliefs. You respect me for mine. You may not agree, but respect being a common thread there. So I don't have anything against atheists. And I think they actually have kind of a point whenever they say about, you know, the mythologies and theologies and whatnot, having ways of seeing us before birth and after life and telling us, you know, if you act a certain way, this is what you're going to get on the other side, and you know, these are the rewards that you'll get if you're a good person or if you believe in this or that or whatever. Do I think that certain theologies and mythologies do have an impact on how we conduct ourselves during life? Absolutely. Could we conduct ourselves the same way without any of that baggage hanging over us? I think so. I do think that there would be a way to have the same morality or the same structure of, or a similar structure of law and acceptance with everybody being atheists. But that's not how humanity works. A great deal of us, you know, we look towards belief systems or we look towards something to ground ourselves or act as a touchstone to a certain time or place or a certain experience of life. And I really think that without these mythologies or theologies, I think that life would be a little less rich. Yeah, I just have a fascination and a love for religions and the intricacies that come along with it. So, do I think it could serve as a way to control people? Absolutely. Do I think that is its sole purpose? For some, maybe. For others, no. I don't think that would be their motivation at all. Some people just, they actually have a sincere belief in that, and I respect that. Whatever that religion is or that practice is. So moving on, on 293, he has here, this is halfway down. The basic concept is that a human soul, this is talking about reincarnation, the human soul is immortal. Aspects of our consciousness and our subtle bodies continue on after the physical body perishes. The soul can then be reborn into another life, possibly a different culture, to continue spiritual development through new experiences. Most feel that the structure is an education system, making life a school for us to learn our lessons. I have heard this from several different sources that, this is our time at school. This is our learning experience, and this is the time that you actually learn and grow as an individual soul to progress to whatever is beyond the great beyond. Maybe a greater beyond, maybe the greatest beyond. I don't know if that's even a thing. But whatever is beyond the beyond to us, graduating that school and helping everybody go along, gets us closer to an achievement and a betterment of all. So, yeah, I have heard this on several different occasions from several different sources, and I think that it warrants investigating further. So, yeah, I like to point that out. Moving on, opinions differ as to where souls come from, what happens when all the lessons are learned, and the nature of animal, insect, plant, and even mineral spirits. How does all of life figure into the system? As we touch on various views, please keep in mind that once a spirit passes the veil to the next world, concepts of three-dimensional time and space lose the importance we place on them. All of these systems are points of view, and none truly represent the entire picture. Life after death is something we only truly understand after we pass. The reason I picked this is because it really kind of hits home. We won't know everything when we move on from here, from this time and place. We won't know everything, and we have to be okay with that. Having the entire thing all figured out kind of takes away from the majesty of the unknown. It's wonderful and absolutely mind-boggling, the things that we don't know. So much so we don't even know what we don't know. And I think that's wonderful in and of itself. Would I love to know everything? Absolutely. I'm not gonna lie, I want to know everything. Is it possible? No. Because once you find something, you're gonna ask questions about it, and you don't know that answer yet. Maybe in the next life. Anyway, Moving on to the bottom of 294, most occultists do not feel that they are limited to a particular number of incarnations. W. Westcott, one of the founders of the Golden Dawn, states one theory that souls are limited to 3 incarnations. I disagree. Not necessarily with his quotation of a belief or his citing of a belief, but I disagree with Westcott. I don't think we are limited to 3 sources or 3 incarnations. I think that if reincarnation is correct, I think we keep on going until we get it right, or until we've learned everything that needs to be learned. Oh, excuse me. On 295, halfway down, you can look at reincarnation as a system of spiritual evolution. And this I understand. This is the concept of maybe you are going up a ladder or down a ladder, depending on what you are at the time. Maybe you're an ant going into a dog and, reincarnating into a human being, or maybe you go down a step. But it is a spiritual evolution of this is what you need to learn, this is what your spirit needs to learn in order to fulfill the life plan that has been set up by you prior to this life. Down at the bottom of 295, another intriguing theory is that individual souls are not as separate and distinct as most people believe. This is an odd concept. I want to make sure that I word this carefully, because it's not a crazy concept. It's odd in that this is the first time I'm hearing it, and I've heard a lot of reincarnation theories and whatnot, and I think this one is fairly well thought out. I haven't heard anything such as this, where we are all part of basically an ocean of soul, and your life is just taking up a little bit of that soul essence and going on and living, and then you come back and your soul of Rich in this lifetime goes into the big puddle of soul again, dumbing it down. Sounds weird if you're not actually doing the reading. Read the book. Sounds kind of weird, and I kind of like it. But I would also disagree because of things like the Akashic Records. He makes reference to this. That mystics call the collective consciousness of Jung the Akashic Records, and that might be true, but I think they're actually separate things altogether. In my understanding, is the Akashic Records are like a holding place, like a filing system, huge library, and the collective consciousness is, we kind of know something. We don't know how we know it, but us as a unifying group know it. Such as, like, we instinctively know in order to look at something, we need to open our eyelids. That's something that, is a collective consciousness thing. We know that touching something hot burns us, that type of thing. And we might instinctively know that before ever touching something hot. Case in point, I look at Jelly, who is not here right now, and is not keeping my head kind of in the game as she usually does. But, Jelly has never gotten burned by a candle, has been around plenty of candles, but never has gotten burned. And I think that is something that is like a collective consciousness thing, where she kind of she just knows, hey, I'm around a candle, this is a flame, it could hurt me. She's never been on fire, she's never gotten her tail on fire, or nothing like that. And she's been around a lot of candles. So maybe that's a collective consciousness thing. But I do think that collective consciousness and the Akashic Records are two separate things altogether. So yeah, anyway, I wanted to point out his theory here on the one universal soul, or something of that sort. I don't think that's quite it, but I do enjoy the mind maze that it took me down, the little labyrinth that it took me down. It was fun and I enjoyed it. Okay, down at the bottom, for the longest time I had great difficulty deciding exactly what I believe in regard to reincarnation. Okay, we're gonna spill some tea here. Up until recently, I had not really settled on a belief or non-belief in reincarnation. As of recently, I am more inclined to agree with a reincarnation aspect. That's just with things that I've heard of other people's experiences. At the end of the day, I'm not sure. Do I think there is something beyond life? I do. I honestly think there must be something beyond this experience, beyond this. That is what I believe. And if you disagree, fantastic. But that's my belief. I do believe that there's something beyond this experience. Am I sure that's reincarnation? No. Am I leaning more towards that? Yes. Some of that goes along with people's experiences that they've had, things that little kids have said about a previous life. It just, some of the stories out there are really convincing as to whether or not reincarnation is a thing. And it's not a wild concept by any means. Actually, I think it's more of a wild concept that if there is something beyond this life, that we sit around playing harps all day. I think we definitely have a job of some sort on the other side, wherever that may be. And let's move on to 297, where we are talking about karma. The concept of karma is one aspect of Eastern philosophy of reincarnation that has become popular in the Western world. Though mainly a concept of Hinduism and Buddhism, karma has made its way into the world of the witch. Now, I do believe in a karma type of aspect. Kind of what goes around comes around eventually, in its own time. Do I necessarily agree that it is in the same way as the Hindu or Buddhist beliefs? No. Do I think it is similar? I do believe it is similar. Continuing to page 299, the point of reincarnation is to wipe the slate clean, at least the conscious slate, giving you a fresh start. Karma does not affect us, but we are never fated into events beyond our control. Or did I say does not? Karma does affect us, but we are never fated into events beyond our control. Let me try reading this. Magic has taught me that we are all capable of choosing and manifesting our own life. This I agree with. I think that karma, if there is a concept of karma, in my belief, there is a concept of karma, I think it does exist. It does affect our day-to-day living or our big picture view, more so. It could be that you need to learn a lesson from a previous life, and karma just like pokes you a little bit every time just to make you a little uncomfortable, so you learn that lesson just a little bit more. That's more so my concept of karma and the way that it works in daily or in big events, big life events. And I do agree with them that magic has taught that you're capable of choosing and manifesting your own fate. You have the power as a witch to choose, how you react to things, and choose whether or not you react to something in a big grandiose way or in a victimizing way, or you accept something and you fix it. As a witch, you have multiple avenues to decide how to interact with your own life, your own way, your own relation to reality. Now, under the title of exploration, why would you want to explore your past lives? And I'm going to skip here a little bit. People can suffer from emotional blocks and traumas that have no connection to this life. Traditional therapies do not help. And I agree. If this is something that seems that you have gone to a doctor, traditional therapies are not helping, they can't find out what's wrong with you, maybe it could be something with a past life. I am very against, for me, in my practice, at very least as of right now, I'm very against going into a past life. And part of that is because, being a historian, I would kind of want to stay there. I would want to know more. I would want to know everything about this individual that used to be me. I would want to know everything about that past life. And I think I would kind of get obsessed. I think I would become fixated by this past life. And I wouldn't know exactly when I would need to come back. And in some instances, I might not want to come back and be in this life, be this soul in this body, in this time and era of 2021. Depending on how great or how different the past life was. I'm not saying that my life is shitty by any means, but certainly if I had a past life where I was very comfortable and I had everything that I ever needed and I was just, at ease with everything and everything was going great, if I, maybe I was a trust fund baby and I sat around all day just doing whatever I wanted and just reading books and experiencing the local customs of wherever I was, maybe I would want to stay there. And as the historian, sitting there and experiencing the times that I would be in, I would be afraid that I would want to stay there, or that I would be longing to go back, or I would want to research the past me. And I think I would more focus on the what was rather than the what is. And I think that's where I stand on it as of right now. Maybe in the future my thoughts will change on it, and on page 300, I kind of want to read a little something from Christopher Penczak on this. Honor your own boundaries. And I think that is a wonderful thing to do in any part of your practice, is to honor your boundaries. Know what your boundaries are and honor those boundaries. And that's kind of the honoring of yourself. It's sort of the same as your no being a complete sentence. It's okay. It's actually encouraged by me that if you don't want to do something, you say no, and that's it. That is a complete sentence. It's okay. With that, he does have an exercise of past life exploration. I will not be doing that for the reasons I explained. And that, for me, is honoring my own boundaries and making sure I don't go down a rabbit hole that I'm not so sure I'm ready for yet. He does have new assignments here. Like I said, exercise 34, I'm not going to be doing. So, yeah. He says, do exercise 34 and record. Oh, excuse me. Record your experiences. I'm sorry for yawning. What it is whenever I do longer videos, I end up talking so much that my brain doesn't get enough oxygen, hence yawning. Okay. Let's see. Continuing assignments. Daily journal. Write 3 pages a day. The continuing assignment that has been with us since the beginning. Continue with a dream journal. Okay. Focus on regular meditation, on a regular meditation practice at least 3 times a week, if not daily. Okay. Use intuition, instant magic, neutralization, light aura reading, and healing scans in your daily life. Maybe not all of them, but some of them, yes. Tips. If you have difficulty accessing past life memories from the gateway of memories, try these alternate images and techniques. Visualize yourself ascending into a tunnel like the birth canal, leading to your past life. Instead of using number 2, instead of using stairs, some people identify with elevators, where each floor is another past life. Press the button of the past life and step out of the door. Number 3, imagine rising out of your physical body like astral projection. Make a symbol such as a pentagram on the roof in a white light as your homing signal, and ascend up into space, into the space-time. Then descend into the past life, counting from 22 to 1. When done, reverse the process and look for your homing symbol, returning you to your present physical body. Whew. Okay. Another tip here. Very rarely a person encounters an existence that he or she cannot understand, such as the time between lifetimes. The lack of physicality can be upsetting. Some report lives in other planes of existence and on other planets. Starting with the intention of the physical existence on Earth can help weed out such experiences, unless, of course, you are comfortable exploring them. See, I would be okay exploring the life between. That I would be okay with. That I would have a lot of questions and a lot of things that I would want to examine, but that would be something that I would be okay going to and coming back and knowing that eventually I'm going to that again, and that in order to get there, I still have to live this life. I think I would be okay with going to the middle place, the waiting room, if you will, I think I would be okay going there and experiencing that. Uh, Existence on other planes or planets, maybe not as much. Yeah, I don't think that as much. But the place between lives, I think I would be very much interested in. So yeah, that is chapter 16, uh, which was lesson 12, entitled, what was the title? Born Again. What was the title of it again? Can't remember. Anyway, join me next week for chapter 17, lesson 13, called Initiation. Again, this is the Inner Temple Witchcraft by Christopher Penczak. Make sure you get your copy by going into the description box below. I have a link there. It is an Amazon link. I don't think I have an affiliation with them anymore. If I do, great. If not, I'm not getting paid for it then. Oh well. I don't think I do. Anyway, so if you need a copy of your own, go ahead and go there. They do have a Kindle version, like I mentioned earlier. Join me tomorrow for the Witchcraft in the Bible series. I have a lot of studying that I have to do because I didn't get much studying done the last couple days. So that is something that I need to do and do quickly. So this is going to have no editing to it, besides putting a background music on it and whatnot. And join me on Tuesday for Tarot Talk Tuesday. We are going through the Knight of Swords. And join me on Witchy Wednesday for the Heart Chakra. And join me on Thursday for Table Talk Thursday. No clue what the subject's going to be for Table Talk Thursday, but go ahead and join me then for that one. We had a little bit of a rough topic this past week. So yeah, I think it actually works out better me not seeing the topic ahead of time at all. That was a moving experience for me. So anyway, with all that being said, until next time, may you have love, hugs, and ladybugs. Bye-bye.